everybody, back again, and today we are finishing up the work on this adventure style kbar, Bowie knife, whatever you want to call it. We are going to leave the blade with a pretty rustic finish. All we're really going to do in terms of cleanup work is knock the forge scale off. We're going to leave that forged look, so it'll be sort of a brute to forge kind of look. The only thing that's going to be polished on this is going to be the very edge of the blade itself, the secondary edge bevel, because we do already have quite a large primary bevel on this blade, so all we're really going to need is a nice little secondary bevel to make it easier to sharpen this monster of a knife. The main work that's going to be done today is going to be getting this handle shaped and fitted up. I do plan on using a couple pieces of leather for this transition point right here in between where the shoulder of this guard meet up with the wood, but first we need to get the wood actually shaped so we can see what we're working with underneath all of the soot from burning it through. So without further ado, let's go ahead, head over to the polishing system on my grinder. These are just some combat abrasives, non-woven belts, just to knock all the forge scale off so we can see what we're looking at in terms of the finish on the blade itself, knock the edge on the blade. Once that's done, we can go ahead and work on getting the handle finished and fitted. So let's get started. So we've got the finish we want on the blade. I left a lot of the hammer marking in there and a lot of the forge pitting on the surface, just because I wanted, like I said, to give this kind of a brute to forge aesthetic. It's got a very high polish edge, so it's going to perform really well, but I wanted to give it that rustic, aggressive, frontiersman kind of look. We've got the knuckle guard cleaned up as well, so now all that's left to do is work the handle. Let's go ahead and pop this in the vise and get this handle shaped up so it matches our aesthetic we've got going here with our knife.
So now that we've got a pretty rough shape of what we're getting after, we're going to go ahead over to the belt sander and we're going to refine this shape a bit to something a little more comfortable.
All right. Ooh, had a little dust on the camera there. Oof. Alrighty, so we've got the handle shaped on this crazy Bowie knife here, on this crazy little survival camp field knife. As you can see, we have a slight gap from where I cleaned it down. Like I said, I'm going to throw a piece of leather, maybe 2 in front, before I glue this on. But we have a nice comfortable grip shape for this knife. It's not too small, not too big, gives you just enough of an affirmative grip to be able to hold it however you like and still have it work. It is some real pretty maple burl wood for this handle, so it is going to be quite a beautiful little thing when all is said and done. The next step is going to be go inside, get a piece of leather cut to fit and glue it all together. So I'm going to go ahead and do that off camera. I've already notched the tang on the inside of here just to make it a better fit when we glue it all together. But for now, all I'm going to do is go ahead and get the piece of leather that I need fit to this and get this glued on. And I'll be right back to you guys after that's done. So if you ever wondered how I glue up a hidden tang style handle, this is how. I've got my resin and my hardener in there, and as you can see, I've just got it clamped in a woodworking vise and tightened down, so that way as the resin hardens, there's pressure pushing the whole thing together, so that way there's no gapping when it hardens. I did bolster it with some pieces of leather, which I'm going to shape down to match the handle once that's all done curing up. But now we just need to wait for about 24 hours for that to finish hardening up for us, and then we'll be able to return to working on this beast and getting it all finished. It is now the next day, and we've got our blade all finished up. As you can see, I have gone ahead and thrown quite a large brass pin through that square section of tang that you guys saw that we had. This is just additional retention. You don't have to do the pin with resin inside of there, but I prefer to do the pin with the resin just because it's some extra security. We have 3 pieces of leather here for that bolster, just so it's nice and tight and it blends well underneath there, and a nice affirmative grip. So our blade is all finished. As you can see, we've got that nice shiny secondary edge bevel, we've got the primary bevel and the spine. We left a lot of the hammer blows markings in there just so that way you can tell this is a rustic hand-forged blade. I went ahead and used some heat on just this forward section of guard to darken that leaf back up and darken up this bar, but I did shine up and leave the rustic look on this portion of the guard, so that way it matches the blade and everything looks nice and clean. This doesn't draw too much attention away from the shape of the blade. Our burl wood turned out to look really pretty. The camera work here and the lighting is just not going to do this justice. This is some beautiful, beautiful burl wood for this handle. It's a nice, comfortable grip here. This is a nice spot for the pinky, so you can have some leverage to it. You can choke down on it to get further back behind it, like you would do on an old school fighting knife, but that's more for, you know, slapping into things if you plan on chopping or batoning with it. It can be held very comfortably in the reverse grip if you need to stick it in and pry things. So basically it's just a all-around utilitarian style kbar Bowie with my own design for the hilt of this knife. But it is all finished up, and that's going to do it for today's video. If you guys liked what you've seen, do me a favor, do that thing right there. Until next time, God bless, stay sharp out there. If you're looking for a custom knife, sword, polearm, whatever, check out the Etsy store. Link will be at the end of the video.